Hello, fellow classmates. It is me, Logan Patrick, your classmate, and this is my PowerPoint for non-Western theater, and mine is kabuki. So yeah, let's get started. What is kabuki? It is a classical form of Japanese theater that combines performance and dance together in a dramatic way. It is also known for its brilliant performances, stylish costumes, and kamidori makeup. It started in the 17th century Edo era as a novel performed by all-female tropes. Kabuki stage. I could not figure out the right color for this background, but I mean, essentially, the stage kind of looked like this. You had your very basic, front of the stage, and then you had a hall that would go down this way where the audiences would sit, and they would just sit all the way around it, and the theater was performed here and sometimes here, shown right there and there. And another really cool thing, I couldn't really find much info on it, but when they would do performances involving puppets, which was a really big thing they did, the people controlling the puppets would actually be wearing all black, and the audience was supposed to just accept that as there being nothing there. They're supposed to ignore it because obviously a puppet can't fly by itself, especially in 17th century Japan. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. On to the next one. What was kabuki theater like? I should have put is. Sorry about that. Men performed all roles in kabuki theater. That also included female roles. They were called anagata, and the male characters were, I cannot pronounce that, but tachiyaku. They were very exaggerated and very stylish methods, or they used, excuse me. They did this to achieve their expressions into reality. Another really cool piece of information about kabuki is that the men that played the female roles they took it very seriously, and they wanted to look like a woman, so they would do methods into making their bodies look more feminine. I mean, with their skin, their hair, their makeup, the way they walk, their mannerisms. And other men in the theater actually started falling in love with the anagata characters, which were male. So I mean, that was a really cool thing in my opinion, is that these anagatas were so good at portraying females that males were actually seeking them as love interests, and I thought that was really interesting. They also had very beautiful masks, but it's really, I would rather show this picture of their costume than a mask. How does kabuki function in society? Kabuki has had a profound impact on Japanese society and culture. It often reflects Japan's social issues and changes over time. It also shows Japanese myths and narratives, giving the audience an insight on the human condition and struggles for identity and justice. That is just a backdrop of Japan. I thought it'd be fitting into society. But yeah, it's had major impacts, just like any theater has for any society, Western or non-Western. Theater always has a big impact on our societies. What kind of stories were told? The stories often told were historical events in classical literature. Some were even Japanese folklore, which again is very similar to Western theater. So I'm sure there was, before like World War II, there was probably some civil uprising. I mean, even after World War II, there was probably some about the Pacific Theater War and classical literature. I really don't know. I didn't get some info on that. But folklore would be like the unis, which I believe are Japanese demons. So there would be stories like that told in their theater. And here are just my citations. Yep, that's what I use to get most of this info. That's on my page. Oh, I actually did have one more thing to show you guys. Let me turn this up. Okay, this is a small clip of kabuki.
Kabuki is, well, what is it exactly? Performed exclusively by men, part opera, part dance, part pro wrestling, and is proudly more than a little over the top.
Yeah, he's literally flying.
Kabuki has been called a masterpiece of heritage. And here's a good sign you've reached the pinnacle of this art. You have a personal spritzer.
Anyways, I mean, you can't tell me that you would not want to go